That deer that you just saw run across the screen is dead now. This picture was on the 8th. He got seen by me on the 10th and then killed on the 10th or the 11th. But it was awesome chasing him.
So I can see your pretty face until I arrive in your arms. Well, I don't know what you're doing, fighting in this city war.
The neighbors are here to cut some wood. Well, it is November the 15th, and as you can see, we've got a little more weather. We got 6 or 7 inches right now. I fair weather hunted myself this morning and didn't go. I just really don't know what I'm gonna do right now. I've got to adapt a little bit because there's still gonna be the drive to breed for these deer. It is mid-November, but I have to assume that they're gonna be focusing a little more on food now, because if they don't, they're just not gonna survive. I mean, bucks run themselves pretty ragged, and if it stays cold and snowy like this, it's gonna put a hurting on them. So tonight, I'm probably gonna go sit a food source that's still a good travel corridor for possible rutting activity. I just don't know what to expect. Wish I did, but I'm gonna go sit in a tree and see what happens this evening, I guess.
Bloodshot eyes. Late in the evening when the sun sinks low, that's about the time my rooster crows. I got women up and down this creek and keep me going and my engine clean. Run me ragged, but I don't fret, 'cause there ain't been one slow me down, none yet. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine, ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Lord, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. I got people try to tell me red, keep this living and you wind up dead.
It's November 16th. Opening morning of Illinois shotgun season. This is kind of a big tradition around here. I didn't join the club until 3 years ago. But it is exciting because everybody's out today, so there's a lot of stories flying. Only problem is there's a lot of lead flying too. Already heard several shots this morning and it's just now shooting light. I had a little 1-year-old come by as soon as I got set up and ready and sat down. A few minutes later, a little 1-year-old snuck by. So I'm anticipating a pretty good morning.
Cast your troubles on the Lord of Lords, wind up laying on a cooling board. But I got buddies up White House Road and keep me strutting footing when my feet hang low. Rock gut whiskey gonna ease my pain. And all this running's gonna keep me.
Midday on opening day of shotgun season here in Illinois, and not really probably the best time to be doing this, but I've got the scope taken off the gun here. But the rail, not the scope or the mounts itself, but the actual rail here, I don't know if you can hear that, it's got a little slack in it. Probably not an enormous deal with the range that I'll be shooting at, but still something I wanted to get fixed, because that takes any doubt out of my mind if I can have everything rock solid. So got the scope off. I'm going to tighten that down with some Loctite on the screws, put the scope back on, go shoot a few rounds, and make sure that everything's good to go. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Just climbed up, and halfway up the ladder saw a deer and let him come by. It was a 1-year-old cruising. He came by at 10 yards. Kind of cool. That's the only real fresh tracks I see, so that's a good sign. Maybe I got in here right before the movement. We're in the same stand I was in last night with a bow. It's just a really good brushy creek bottom that leads out into a bunch of tillable. There's cut corn on all 3 sides of this bottom, and a big block of timber on the other end. And I'm sitting kind of out away from that timber. I'm not really, pictures of this guy all summer. I had pictures of him in November. The other day, if you guys have watched this past weekend, I saw this deer on November 10th. Thought he got killed. There's pictures of the neighboring landowner with a buck that looks just like him. Turns out there's 2 different bucks because he's still walking around. Boom. I'm gonna get down, get my stuff together. We're gonna go recover this deer. First ever deer with a shotgun. First buck with a shotgun, and he's a good one. I'm not even gonna go up to this buck. I'm leaving everything in the tree. He's a giant. I'm going home. I'm gonna get some friends to help me recover this thing, get the side-by-side. We'll come pick it up, but what a sight. A lot of hours. People think that you hunt big deer because it's all about just getting the antlers and all this stuff. It's not. It's about how rare of a moment that it is to have a big mature whitetail on his feet in daylight come past you, give you a shot. That's what's so special about it. And that's why people do all this crazy stuff and put all this time and effort and gear into it. This is why. Big buck down. I thought he was dead. I can't believe it. He's right there. There he is. We hadn't walked up on him yet. I thought he was dead though. This is the deer that if you watched the this past weekend that I put out the other day, I think I put it out on the 12th or the 13th. I thought this deer got killed on the 10th or the 11th just from some pictures that I'd seen online, but he didn't. I have pictures of 2 deer that looked exactly the same, and it must have been that other deer. So he stepped out this evening, and it took me a while to figure out that it was him, and then when I did, I was just surprised. And he it kind of worked out kind of weird. I don't know if it showed up on the video or not, but I had a little 1-year-old right underneath me catch me looking at this deer. I was still trying to figure out who it was and if it was what I thought it was. And the 1-year-old caught me doing that, and in the process he snorted, and I thought I was going to clear the field, but it just caught the attention of the does, and of course he looked that way. And so I just gave that 1-year-old a chance to work off, and then gave a couple of grunts, figuring, you know, I have nothing to lose. Maybe he's going to think there's a doe snorting that's getting chased. And sure enough, he heard the grunts, and he just turned my way, and he was 100 yards out over this way, and he came and right in front of the stand at 50 yards. I think it's all on video, so it just worked out really good. He's a nice deer. I'm really happy to have him. I'm happy he was alive and I caught up to him. Makes for a cool story anyway. So I'm going to get everything out of the tree. We're going to just get him field dressed and get him hung up tonight. I think we're going to go out in the morning and get some good pictures of him and, you know, give him a little honor for what he is. 4 or 5 years of surviving with all kinds of people out trying to get you is impressive. Day after I just shot this buck, and I'm just out here trying to get a couple of decent pictures of him. Last night was kind of a scramble. Went in and me and Terrace went and grabbed the deer, took a couple of quick pictures, got back to the shop, and just hung out and told stories for a while, which is one of the best parts. But got him out here getting a couple of decent pictures just to give the respect to him, and I'm gonna take the rest of the weekend to kind of clean up. Everything's muddy, snowy, wet, nasty. So get that gear kind of cleaned back up, ready to go for next week. I'll be bow hunting again, and I saw another deer yesterday that is the one that I want to try to catch up to with a bow. So again, the chase isn't because we're bloodthirsty horn hunters or anything like that. It's just we really enjoy and appreciate everything that Mother Nature has and how rare it is for a big mature deer to be out walking around. So those kind of experiences are special. That's why we do it. So without further ado, I'm gonna get this done and We'll start getting them caped and cut up and all that good stuff this afternoon.